This is Nog, by me, Phil Atherton. This is Nog. Nog lives in the woods, in the damp, dark undergrowth. Nog loves to explore his little world. He's very small, and everything seems big and impressive to him. Nog is squashy and sticky. He can fit through the smallest gaps and even walk upside down across the roof of a cave. One day, whilst out exploring, Nog sat down and watched some ants carrying leaves. What beautiful leaves! Nog thought how happy and special he would be if he had some. Everyone would be so impressed. A crowd of creatures gathered to look at Nog's new leaves. When they had seen enough, they all wandered away. This made Nog feel sad. The attention had made him feel special. Nog saw some worms popping up from the ground. They had little hats made of mud. Nog thought he would be so happy if he had a mud hat of his own. Nog's hat wasn't as tall and grand as he had expected. His leaves were beginning to wilt and droop. Nog felt sad. A bird with a wiggly worm. That bird must be the happiest creature in the world. Nog simply had to have a worm of his own. And a beak. The worm struggled and stretched. It seemed like it didn't even want to be carried around. The worm wrapped itself around Nog's legs and tripped him. It wrapped him up completely. How frustrating! Nog was flustered and disappointed. He would have to continue his search. Finding more things would surely make him happier. A big stag beetle.
Hello.
Those antlers really are spectacular. A set of antlers would make Nog a magnificent beast indeed. With his new antlers made of twig, Nog felt a little more special, but he could no longer squeeze through the little gaps that he could before. This made Nog sad. He would have to collect more treasures to make himself happy. Nog came across a squirrel with some acorns. They were so big and shiny, he simply had to have some of his own. He found some, and with a piece of string, he dragged them around behind him. Nog's acorns were so big and heavy that he could no longer walk upside down on the cave roof. Nog was tired and sad. He sat down on the ground and thought about how to make himself happy again. Simple. He'd have to continue collecting more stuff. Nog saw some bees collecting nectar from flowers. They were covered in powdery yellow pollen. The pollen looked so puffy and fluffy. It made Nog want some pollen of his own. If only he could cover himself in pollen, he would be so happy. The pollen was sticky and bulky. It got in the way of everything and made it difficult for Nog to move. Everything was so heavy and frustrating, it all made Nog even sadder. He thought about what he could do to cheer himself up. He knew right away that what he needed was more treasures, more stuff, more clutter. Nog watched a mole digging in the dirt. His powerful paws were so impressive. Nog wanted some for himself. Everyone would be so impressed by him. He would be the most popular slug alive. Nog was hot from carrying all the stuff. His new claws made him spill his drink. Ow! He poked himself in the eye. On he went to find more and more and more stuff. Nog dragged his stuff through the woods. He saw a butterfly with a long curly tongue. He made his own with a piece of fur. He saw a centipede with so many legs. He saw a spider with lots of eyes. He made some of his own using berries. He saw an earwig with big shiny pincers. The more he walked through the woods, the more lovely treasures he found. How impressive he must be. Nug gathered so many things that he could hardly move. He couldn't fit through tiny gaps. He couldn't stick to the roof. Nug was no longer Nug. He'd become a walking pile of clutter. Nug felt very tired and sad. He didn't know what to do. Maybe all of this stuff wasn't going to make him happy after all. Nug slumped on the floor in a pile of things. He listened to the sounds of the forest and thought he could hear the sound of sticky little feet in the distance. He nearly thought he could hear the sound of a squashy little body squirming through tiny gaps in the undergrowth. He was almost sure he could hear the sound of happiness, the sound of joy, freedom, and celebration. Nug peered out through a gap in his collection. He saw Nogala standing there. She looked scared, like she was looking at a monster. Nogala gasped. She didn't know what she was looking at. Who's there? She wondered. She stepped closer and peered in through the gap. She saw little yellow eyes. They looked sad. Hello? Who are you? Somehow, she sensed something familiar about this walking pile of junk. She fought against her fears to take a closer look. It's me, said a familiar voice. Do you like all of my stuff? Nug, said Nogala. You're trapped in a pile of jumble. Let me help you out. Nogala took Nug by the hands and began to pull. She heaved at his hands and slowly he began slipping out. She pulled harder and out he came with a plop. They both landed on the floor. Nug was free of his cocoon. Nogala looked down at her friend, Nug, the squashy, sticky little slug. This is Nug, she said, the Nug that I know and love. Nug felt great. He was light and free. He was happy to have nothing apart from himself and his friend. The best thing about Nug is Nug. And when he's just Nug, he can really be himself. Nug and Nogala strolled through the woods. They listened to the sounds, smelled the smells, saw the sights, and enjoyed each other's company. This is Nug. Just Nug. Nug at his best. Nug, being himself. Thanks for reading.